You see this? This is Samuel L. Jackson as Snow White. Some may think this is ridiculous. Not me. I'd pay good money to see Samuel L. Jackson play Snow White, but many may think this is almost as ridiculous as some of the contracts the San Diego Padres have on the books. A few years ago, they acted like a kid who had his or her parents' credit card. I want this toy, and this toy, and this toy. Oh, while we're at it, yeah, give me those 5 other toys. Thank you. The whole team had operated that way for a while. The ownership and front office still does. AJ Preller, the emperor of baseball operations, traded away 14 players at the trade deadline this year. 14. Still a low enough number for Jeffrey Epstein or Wander Franco to be interested in, but it's still like a big number in this context. But the front office, at least this year, seems to be the only thing interested in operating on crack. The team is tied up on some really bad contracts. There's other things that have already been hurting this team, and now there's even more depressing news. So thank you so much for being here, subscribed or not. And if you haven't joined the 49% Elite Humans, consider hitting that button if you like the videos, as I just made a Padres video recently too, going over basically just where do they go from here, from going all in yet again just to fail, and things not looking so bright, or at least not as bright as they once were. I mean, they stressed their manager into retirement, basically, even though the Padres actually had a pretty damn good year. At least just looking at the regular season, it was too much and Mike Shildt just had it. He didn't feel like it was worth finishing out his contract. And again, I mean, both his years, he was a Padres manager for 2 years, and both years they made the playoffs. They were good teams, and the stress was just too much for him. And I get it. It's just not worth it at that point. But the more time goes, it really seems like the moment Peter Seidler passed away, their owner, this franchise was doomed moving forward. They immediately cut back on payroll, which on its own isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, just because you have a high payroll doesn't mean you'll be good, and just because you go down in payroll doesn't mean you'll be bad. In fact, 2023 and 2024 literally proved the exact opposite. In 2023, the Padres payroll was, I think, the highest it's ever been and probably ever will be. It was third in the league at over $250 million. Well, that team missed the playoffs. 2024, they cut payroll by about $80 million. They trade Juan Soto and cut payroll by that much and win 11 more games to make the playoffs. So obviously the takeaway here is to be cheap and not have players like Juan Soto. That's the key to, no, the point is payroll only tells you so much. But there were still little signs that Seidler's family, I think the biggest issue with Peter dying was that his family wasn't really necessarily as into the whole thing as he was. It really seemed that way. Then there was news that there was a civil war within the Padres ownership group. Definitely didn't help things feel stable. Peter Seidler's wife, Sheil, accusing his brothers of cutting her off and their 3 kids from the organization, and arguing Peter meant for her to take the team over when he died, not her brothers. How much of that is true, I don't know, and the case is still in court. But obviously never pretty when family fights over a dead relative. Well, how about more bad ownership news? They're now looking to sell the team, the Seidler family, his brothers. Now, this isn't the most surprising thing to ever happen. Again, they just don't seem as passionate like Peter was. I mean, Peter Seidler became one of the more known owners in baseball. And if you're pretty well known as an owner, that probably means one of two things. You're either a guy who doesn't care about how much money anything takes, you just want to see a winning team, and you will spend like it's your last week on this planet, or you operate on a Dollar Tree budget, like frickin' Patrick Starr over here. I have $3, take it or leave it, no in between. Well, Peter was, of course, that first one. And now that he's gone, if I don't check within 5 minutes, I forget the name of any of the guys involved now with the team. They're clearly not as into it. They're probably just more about business and whatever. That's fine, I guess. But it does seem a little shitty for the family, with the team situation getting bleaker, to turn around just a couple years after Peter's death and go, I'm out. I mean, maybe a new ownership group would be good. And it's funny because usually if a team is looking to sell, that seems to be a good thing. Like when you hear anything about a team looking to sell, the fans usually seem happy. This is maybe the one time I've ever heard of a team looking to sell and it feels negative. Peter wouldn't want this, and I don't mean to speak for him, but going off what the man himself said before he died, he would probably hate this. His intent was to have the team in the Seidler family's hands for generations to come. He wanted to have his kids eventually take over. So that obviously makes what his brothers are doing naturally feel wrong, just because of that. Feels kind of gross. If you're thinking this could lead to the Padres possibly leaving San Diego, I mean, you probably weren't thinking that. But if you were, I don't think that's going to happen, because the team has a lease with Petco Park that runs through 2033. That would not allow any kind of move. And a spokesperson for the team even said it's a very safe assumption / assurance that there would be a provision in the sale that prohibits a new owner from relocating the team. Now, you could never fully trust anybody, but I feel like that's pretty safe. That's not going to happen. So, I mean, who knows? What if the next owner comes in and he's great and he actually honors Peter Seidler's legacy better than his own family could? That could work, but we of course don't know that. And there's also no guarantee that this even happens anytime soon. Though what seems to be inevitable lockout after next season doesn't make things any more simple, although I doubt a salary cap is actually ever going to happen, nor should it. But yeah, I just think this whole thing, again, at least right now, because who knows what the future owner could be and how he could be, but right now it just sucks. All the Padres' momentum seems to be dying. They're stuck with some bad contracts that you can't fully blame ownership for. I mean, yeah, they're the ones who pay the players, but Preller is the one who makes the decisions on what players to get. That's his job. Giving Xander Bogaerts 11 years and $280 million, practically doubling the Red Sox offer, like, that's unhinged. But they did that, along with other things, and the ownership group now just looks like they want to jump ship, just like Mike Schilt did. Obviously, very different situations and reasons, but damn, I guess this is a trend now in San Diego to just leave. I mean, the Schilt one, you can't blame him. You got to prioritize health over being a manager of a baseball team. Like, if it's not worth it anymore, it's not worth it. You got to live your life. But Peter Seidler's brothers, I obviously don't know them. I don't know everything about what's going on, but this just feels disrespectful. So, yeah, that's it for now. Love you. Bye.